Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Boulder Creek Homestead. And today we're going to be changing the teeth out on this stump grinder. And then this is the Baumalight 1P24. And I'll show y'all how to change all the teeth. I'll show y'all all the tools that you're going to need. You don't need too much, but if you had an impact, that would make this job a lot easier. You don't need too much, but impact, you're going to need a shallow, this is important, a shallow 15/16 socket. You're going to have a 15/16 wrench and a pair of channel locks, screwdriver, of course the teeth, and a rag. And the 4-way isn't necessarily needed, but I'll show y'all what I'm using that for. And you could sub that for maybe a screwdriver or something like that. And it would be helpful to have some kind of PB blaster, WD-40, or something to spray on all these threads, because as I'll show you here, these threads are full of mud and wood chips and all of that. I mean, I've stump ground hundreds and hundreds of trees so far, and these teeth are still cutting, but I just feel like it's not cutting like it was when I first did it. So this is why I'm going to change my teeth. They're all actually really easy to do, pretty easy to do, except these bottom ones. This one at an angle is easy because you can get it with an impact, but this one, these are a little tricky, and that's why you got to have that wrench, and I'll show you that. There is going to be this hole on the front, and this inside tooth here, you'll have to line this up. Actually, yeah, you'll have to line that up with that hole, and that's why you got to have the shallow socket, because a deep socket won't fit in this void. So first step, we actually need to take this one off in order to get to this one. And I'll show you, because this blade just freely spins. And I've seen a lot of people try to do this on the ground, and I'm kind of a big boy, so I like to work at, hand height, so head height. So I got mine raised up on forks, super easy, just slid right in. So let's do it. Let's break this one loose. All right, so first thing, we're gonna spray it down with a little bit of oil. And now this is where you need the extension, and then you need the shallow, because the deep won't fit in here. So you gotta put that in there like this, then put your shallow on there. Now go through that hole, and then now you can break it. All right, now it's gonna spin, so you gotta have your channel locks on this side. That's it. So that thing's broke loose. Now you break your shallow, and then there's your nut. All right. Now this thing, oh, it's a little jammed in there. All right, we got that tooth out. All right. Now we're gonna leave this out. You had to take that one loose so you can stick this in this as a stopper. Now this thing won't spin. So now we're going to work on getting this tooth out right there. So again, let me get some PB blaster, my screwdriver. I'm going to spray it. And this one is, just hold it right there. And this one is full of all kind of sticks and all kind of good stuff. Let's get that out of there. Knock some of that dirt out that we can. That'll help it break loose. Let me get my rag. Let me come stand right here. Alright, so now this is the kind of pain part, because you're kind of limited on what you can do. this is where you need the wrench 15/16. So get it on there, and you can't use the box end, you got to use that end. So let's break this, and this is where it's kind of time consuming because you can only get a quarter turn at a time because of this. And although it's easy, it just literally takes time to get this thing undone. I won't bore you with this, but that's what we're doing. Just a little quarter turn at a time. Let me show you to get a good close up. So I got my, you could use an extension or screwdriver or something, but that's just to keep this thing straight. So that's the angle we're working with right there. That's probably a better angle. Then just keep working that thing all the way. All right, so just a little tip. Once you get this thing just loose enough, it's got like a square notch that it sits in. But once you break it free enough, you can slide this back like this. Then you take your channel locks and you just put your wrench on there. All right, hold this right. Actually, I might be able to do it. I got it. Perfect. Now take your channel locks like that with your wrench in there, and then to speed this up, you can turn it like this, and this will help it. And this, I was actually going the wrong way, but you can use this method for the loosening and the tightening of this, because this thing, it's a locking nut, so you can only put it on there so far by hand. And this is way faster than having to do that little quarter turn every time. Whoops. And now that it's loose, my thing fell out, but that's alright. Alright, then there we go. That is that one. And I just wanted to do a little comparison of the old teeth. So these are the old teeth here, and here are the new teeth. And mine aren't really worn. I can't really tell, but like I said, I can definitely tell that it's just not cutting like it was. But I've also did hundreds and hundreds of stumps already, so I just don't want to put too much strain on a tractor since it's easy enough to change, so that's why we're changing them. But that's just a little comparison. So I did want to give an update on this bottom one here that I just changed. I didn't realize it because it was full of dirt and mud, but this tooth was super worn out, as you can see right here. Look at that wear and tear on that one. Let me hold it sideways this way. But yeah, something was eating that thing up. Yeah, look at that. So that one definitely needs to be changed. Alright, so now we're going to actually change the tooth. So that's that little square, little slot that I was talking about right there. And you'll see that this thing is a square. So we're going to slide that in, just like so. And let me try to set this video up in a way that we can see. Give me 1 second. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing, that little tip I said. We're going to start this nut. Alright, got to start it. We're going to thread it as much as we can with our fingers. And you'll feel it stop because this is a locking nut. And then put your thing on there, and then let me get in position. Then there we go. Let's get this thing, thread it down as much as we can with the channel locks, so we don't have to deal with that quarter turn every time. And there might be a better way to do this, but I don't have a ratcheting wrench, so this is my best method that I know how to do it. And then once you get to a point, you actually can't spin it no more because you're kind of bottomed out. So be cautious of that because of the square. The square eventually has to sit in that slot. So I can get, it's about my last one. It's about right there. Now it's got a seat down. Alright, so now it's back to the quarter turn deal. And we'll just keep on going. And eventually, after an hour and a half of agonizing turning, you'll get this thing tight. Alright, so got that tightened, and now that's basically the only hard one. The rest, I mean, is so simple. I can do one with y'all if y'all want, but I mean, these literally just undo the nut and do it, tighten it back up. To me, the most important ones are definitely this bottom one and really your bottom teeth. These ones that are up here are not that critical. I believe there's 34 of these teeth, you know, and you don't necessarily have to change these up here. They're not doing much cutting, but I would definitely recommend changing, you know, this bottom one and then these bottom couple ones here for sure. So let's see, I might even be able to do this one-handed and change one. So here we go. Let's see, I hit that one already with PB Blaster, so get your socket on there. Look at that, no problem. Alright, got that one. Let's do another one. Yep, that one. Sometimes that's why you gotta have the channel lock sometimes, or really just two hands to hold it in that notch, and it'll come right off. But and that's it. It comes right out. Replace your next tooth, and you were done. So hope this helps somebody. If it did, give it a like or a comment, and hope you like the Bogle Creek Homestead.